Hello all, I am the Holland Phantom, and for today's video we're going to be having a live battle on the basic through fossil format. On one side, we got the Alakazam deck going up against the Blastoise deck on the other side, with both deck lists created by 3-time world champion Jason Klaczynski. Well, sort of. I have to change a couple of cards in the Blastoise deck to include some Lapras cards in order to counter the Mr. Mime in the Alakazam deck. The Alakazam deck is going to be focused on using Damage Swap to get damage away from the active Pokemon to spread among the bench, and then healing all that damage with a Pokemon Center. And the Blastoise deck is going to be focused on using the Pokemon Power Rain Dance to quickly accelerate water energy to the attackers to get some quick knockouts. So we'll see which of these two decks can take the victory today. But before we begin, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel and to my Twitter account at Holland_Phantom so you don't miss out on any new Pokemon TCG content. And now with that out of the way, let's get into the battle! And here we go, the battle has started, with both players sweeping over their starting Pokemon. On the Alakazam side, we've got Psyduck as the active Pokemon, and on the Blastoise side, we've got Squirtle as the active Pokemon. The Alakazam side is going first, placing an Abra and a Scyther on the bench, and then attaching a Psychic Energy to the Psyduck before attacking with Headache. And now the Blastoise player can now use any trainer cards during their next turn. Okay, over to the other side, there we see a Water Energy coming down to the Squirtle, followed by the Lapras coming down to the bench, and there's the attack Bubble, hitting for 10 damage. And the player's also going to be getting a heads on the coin flip, so now Psyduck is paralyzed. It cannot attack or retreat during this next turn. Okay, on the Alakazam side, Abra evolves into Kadabra, and then we see a Psychic Energy coming down to the Scyther before the player passes their turn. The Psyduck comes back to normal, and now the Blastoise player is free to use their trainer cards. Then we see a second Energy coming down to the Squirtle, followed by Professor Oak to discard the entire hand and draw 7 brand new cards. So let's see what the player's going to be doing. Are they going to be getting any more Pokemon or Evolution cards to evolve this Squirtle? And here we go, let's take a look. Actually, that's going to be it. They're going to go straight for the attack. Once again, Bubble hitting for another 10 damage and another Paralysis coming through. Once again, Psyduck cannot attack or retreat. Over to the Alakazam side. There we see the double colorless energy coming under the Scyther. It is now fully powered up to start using its Slash attack. And that's going to be it. Turn quickly passes back over to the Blastoise side. The player's going to be activating the Pokemon Breeder to evolve Squirtle directly into Blastoise, completely skipping over the Wartortle stage. There we see an Articuno coming down to the bench now. The Blastoise just needs one more energy to be fully powered up, and there we see a Gust of Wind to bring up the Kadabra into the active spot. It has 60 HP, so with 5 energy cards, the Blastoise player can take the one-hit KO. There we see an Item Finder discarding 2 cards from the hand. For any training cards in the discard pile, the player's going to be reusing their Professor Oak to once again discard the entire hand and draw 7 brand new cards. The player's going to be digging through their deck to get at least 3 more Water Energy for the one-hit KO. Okay, there we see that Pokemon Power Rain Dance to accelerate, just 2 energies. So Hydro Pump can hit for 50 damage, not quite enough for the one-hit KO against Kadabra. Okay, but they're going to be using the Super Energy Removal, getting rid of 1 energy off of Blastoise to get rid of all the energy off of Scyther. So it can't attack anymore. And there's a Hydro Pump hitting for 40 damage into the Kadabra. It's got 20 HP left. Let's see what the player can do on the other side now. And there we see a switch to get Kadabra out of the active spot, once again promoting Psyduck to lock the opponent out of their trainer cards with a Headache attack. But first, there we see Computer Search discarding 2 cards from the hand for any card from the deck. So we might be seeing the Alakazam finally coming down. There's the chosen card face down. They don't have to reveal it to their opponent. So let's see what it's going to be this time. Oh, it's actually going to be Professor Oak to draw 7 new cards out of the deck, trying to get Alakazam through sheer draw power. Let's see if they can get it. Okay, there we see a Chansey coming down to the bench. And yes, the player did get Alakazam, and now they have access to their Pokemon Power Damage Swap to move damage counters around on their side of the field. So all the damage off of Alakazam and Psyduck go onto the Chansey. Chansey has 120 HP, so it can soak up a ton of damage. And there's the attack, Headache. Doesn't do any damage, but once again, Blastoise is locked out of trainer cards, so they don't play anything, and they go straight for the Hydro Pump, hitting Psyduck for 40 damage. Psyduck is down to just 10 HP remaining. There we see a Mr. Mime coming down to the bench now. Mr. Mime's going to be getting the Psychic Energy. It just needs 1 more energy to be fully powered up to start using its Meditate attack. And there's another damage swap, moving all the damage off of Psyduck once again onto Chansey. Chansey has now taken 100 damage so far. It has 20 HP left. And there's another Headache attack. The Alakazam player is still just stalling out, so they can build up their board a little more powerful. Okay, there we see the 4th energy coming down to the Blastoise. It can finally take the one-hit KO against Psyduck with its Hydro Pump. And now Blastoise takes the first prize of the game. On the other side, there we see the Scyther coming into the active spot. It does have the free retreat. And now the player's going to be benching a Kangaskhan. Scyther retreats to promote the Mr. Mime, so the player must have another energy to start attacking. And yeah, there we see the grass energy now to power up the meditate attack. And there it is, hitting for 10 damage. It also hits for 10 more damage for every damage counter on the opponent's Pokemon, so it only gets stronger as the game goes on. On the other side, Blastoise is going to be paying the retreat cost to go back to the bench, as it cannot deal any damage to Mr. Mime because of the Pokemon Power Invisible Wall. With the ability, Mr. Mime cannot take any damage if the opponent were to hit it for 30 damage or more. So Lapras is going to be the attacking Pokemon now. There we see a Squirtle coming into the bench, followed by Energy Retrieval, discarding a Blastoise from the hand for 2 water energies from the discard pile. They're going to be going straight onto Lapras thanks to the Rain Dance Pokemon power. There's the attack. It's going to be Confuse Ray, hitting for only 10 damage, but Mr. Mime is now confused. With Confusion active, it does deactivate the invisible wall. Okay, on the other side there we see the damage swap, moving the damage counter off of Mr. Mime onto the Chansey, and there's a switch to get Mr. Mime out of the active spot to promote it with Scyther, and now Scyther retreats for free to re-promote the Mr. Mime, but it is no longer confused. And there we see Energy Retrieval, discarding a Psyduck from the hand for 2 energies from the discard pile. There we see a Psychic Energy, and a second Psychic Energy. Again, one of them is going to be going down onto the Kangaskhan. It needs 4 energies to be fully powered up to start using its Comet Punch, and there's the attack. Meditate, hitting for 10 damage. Okay, over to the other side now. No cards are played, going for the Confuse Ray once again. Okay, but this time they're going to be getting a Tails. Mr. Mime is not confused this turn. Okay, once again, there we see the Meditate attack. This time it hits for 20 damage. Like I said, it's going to be getting a little bit stronger each time. Now Lapras is down to 50 HP remaining. Okay, there we see a Bill from the Blastoise player to draw 2 cards out of the deck. Followed by another Bill to draw another 2 cards. Oh, and there's the third Bill to draw another 2 cards. Did they get the 4th one? Ah, no, they didn't. They only got 3. They drew 6 cards this turn. They don't play anything else. They go for another Confuse Ray and another Tails. Mr. Mime is still not confused. It looks like the player forgot to use the damage swap last turn, so they're going to be using it this time to get both of the damage counters off of Mr. Mime onto Alakazam. And there's Meditate, this time hitting for 40 damage. Lapras is down to just 10 HP remaining. So the Blastoise player has to find a way to heal this Lapras, otherwise it's going to be getting KO'd on the next turn. Okay, there we see another Lapras coming down to the bench to replace the active one in case it goes down. And there's a computer search to discard a War Turtle and a Maintenance from the hand for any card from the deck. So let's see what they're going to be choosing. It might be the Super Potion to heal this Lapras, or something else to slow down the Mr. Mime. Okay, it's actually going to be the Super Energy Removal, getting rid of the energy off of Blastoise to get rid of both of the energy cards off Mr. Mime, so it can't attack anymore. And there's Confuse Ray hitting for 10 damage, and... okay, finally, Confusion goes through once again, so let's see if the Alakazam player has another switch card in hand. Otherwise, Mr. Mime can be KO'd on the following turn, because it no longer has access to the invisible wall. Okay, another Psychic Energy came down to the Kangaskhan. The damage swap moves the damage off of Mr. Mime, and that's going to be it! Turn passes back over to the Blastoise player. There's an Energy Retrieval, discarding a Squirtle from the hand for 2 energies out of the discard pile. Let's see. The Water Gun can hit for a maximum of 30 damage, so it's still going to be 10 damage short of taking the KO against this Mr. Mime. Okay, yeah, there we see the third energy coming down to the Lapras. Can it take the KO this turn? Yes, they can. They have the plus power to give it just enough attack points to take the KO and take the second prize of the game. Okay, the Scyther gets re-promoted. And there we see that double color synergy coming down to the Kangaskhan, and is now fully powered up to start using its Comet Punch. It's going to be dealing 20 damage times the number of heads they flip on 4 coin flips. Alright, there's the attack. Comet Punch. How much damage is it going to deal? It's going to be 3 heads hitting for 60 damage. More than enough to take the KO. And taking the first prize card for the Alakazam side. Okay, on the Blastoise side, there we see Articuno coming into the active spot now. It has 2 really powerful attacks in Freeze, Dry, and Blizzard. There we see the Rain Dance accelerating 3 water energies. So that's enough for the Freeze, Dry attack, and there's another Bill to draw another 2 cards out of the deck. Did they get the 4th energy card? Okay, no they didn't. They can only attack with Freeze Dry, hitting for 30 damage. And a Tails on the coin flip, so no paralysis coming through. So let's see how much damage the Kangaskhan can do this turn. But first, there we see the damage swap, moving the damage counters off of Kangaskhan onto the bench Scyther. Okay, it's also important to note that the Chansey and the Scyther are down to just 10 HP remaining on the bench. If the Blastoise player can get another energy onto Articuno, they can use Blizzard to potentially take the KO against Chansey and Scyther and take 2 more prize cards. Okay, the Comet Punch hit for 40 damage into the Articuno. It's got 30 HP left. And does the Blastoise player have at least 1 more energy card? No, they don't. Once again, attacking with Freeze Dry for 30 damage. But this time, Kangaskhan is paralyzed. Okay, there we see another Scyther coming out of the bench now. And there's the damage swap, moving the damage off of Kangaskhan onto the new Scyther on the bench. And finally, there's the Pokemon Center to completely wipe away all the damage that was built up on the Alakazam's bench. So the Blastoise player has to start from 0 now. And there's the pass of the turn. Kangaskhan is healed of its paralysis and now over to the other side. And it looks like at this point the Alakazam's win condition is not going to be taking 6 prizes, but by decking out their opponent, just by continuously stalling out. Okay, there's a Freeze Dry hitting for 30 damage, no paralysis coming through. A Psychic Energy comes down to one of the Scyther, just in case his Kangaskhan somehow goes down. And there's Damage Swap, getting the damage off of Kangaskhan onto the Chansey once again. And there's Comet Punch. Here's the 4 coin flips. How many is it going to be? Oh, it's going to be all Tails, dealing 0 damage. Kangaskhan might as well have been paralyzed for all the good it did this turn. Okay, on the other side, finally the player gets their 4th Water Energy to start attacking with the Blizzard attack. Though it looks like it's a little too late. Another Articuno comes down to the bench. There's the attack. That was, Blizzard that time. Hitting for 50 damage and also getting a heads on the coin flip. So all the Pokemon on the Alakazam's bench take 10 damage apiece. So if the Blastoise player had been able to do this a couple turns ago before the Pokemon Center, they could have taken the KO against Chansey and Scyther. There's the damage swap, moving some more damage counters around. So once again, Chansey is down to... is it 20 or... Yeah, it's down to just 10 HP remaining. And the other Scyther gets 10 damage placed on it as well. Okay, a second Psychic Energy comes down to the other Scyther, and there's a Comet Punch hitting for... 40 damage to take the KO against Articuno, taking the second prize card for Alakazam. And now the game is all tied up at 4 prizes remaining apiece. The second Articuno comes into the active spot now. And the Blastoise player's deck is looking pretty thin right now. There we see the Item Finder discarding 2 more cards from the hand. For any training card from the discard pile, the player's going to be choosing the Energy Retrieval to get back some more discarded Water Energies. They discard the Pokemon Breeder to activate the Retrieval, getting back two more Water Energies. Do they have enough to start dealing some damage? They've been going through a lot of Water Energies this game. There's the Rain Dance. And yes, they are going to be attaching 3 energy, enough for a Freeze Dry. Okay, hitting for 30 damage and... paralysis? Yeah, paralysis comes through. Kangaskhan cannot attack. But thanks to the damage swap, it's going to be completely healed this turn. There we see the 3rd energy coming down to the bench Scyther. And there's damage swap, moving the damage off of Kangaskhan onto the other Scyther now. Both Chansey and Scyther are going to be used as damage sponges to soak up all the hits that Kangaskhan takes. There's another Freeze Dry. Okay, they get a Tails that time, so Kangaskhan can attack during this next turn. So let's see how much damage it's going to be dealing. Another Kangaskhan comes down to the bench. So with 90 HP, it can soak up a ton of damage. Almost as well as a Chansey can. Does the player have access to the next Pokemon Center? Not yet, but there's a Comet Punch hitting for... Let's see, it's just 1 hit, so only 20 damage. So Articuno still got 50 HP remaining. Okay, no more cards are played by the Blastoise player, going straight for the attack. Another Freeze Dry. This time the paralysis does go through. Kangaskhan cannot attack. And that's going to be a lot of damage piling up on the Alakazam side now. The Chansey is all full up. The Scyther is all full up. The Kangaskhan on the bench is down to 30 HP remaining. So it looks like the Blastoise player is just going to build up as much damage as possible. and hopefully take some KOs quickly before they deck out. There's another Freeze Dry, once again paralyzing the Kangaskhan. It still can't attack. There's damage swap moving. Looks like all the damage onto Alakazam this time. Or actually, hold on. 20 more damage goes onto the bench Kangaskhan. It's down to just 10 HP. And the remaining 10 goes on to the Scyther. Scyther's down to 20 HP. So with the Blizzard attack and heads on a coin flip, the player can take the KO against Kangaskhan and Chansey. Let's see if they can get their 4th energy card. Let's see, they have the Computer Search, discarding, looks like 2 Professor Oaks from their hand. They're not going to be using those because they don't want to deck out any sooner. So they might be searching out either another energy retrieval or the water energy itself to start using the Blizzard attack. And they got a 50-50 shot of... Yeah, okay, they did get the water energy. Like I was saying, they have a 50-50 shot of taking the KO against Kangaskhan and Chansey on the bench. Here's a coin flip. Oh, but they got a Tails! They deal 50 damage to the active Kangaskhan, but they're going to be damaging their own bench for 10 damage apiece. Okay, now the other side, the Alakazam player has to start redistributing some of the damage counters around so their Pokemon don't get knocked out. Actually, never mind. There we see the item finder discarding 2 cards from the hand. They might be getting back their Pokemon Center. Yeah, Pokemon Center comes back through to heal all the damage off of the bench. So once again, all the all the work and damage that the Blastoise player has done over the past several turns gets completely wiped away. And yeah, their deck is looking pretty thin right now. It can't be more than a handful of cards left there. Okay, and there's the Comet Punch, hitting for 40 damage that time, so Articuno's down to 10 HP remaining. Yeah, and at this point, it's looking really unlikely like the Blastoise player is going to be winning anytime soon. I think they're down to their final 2, maybe 3 cards. Okay, there's the attack Blizzard, hitting for 50 damage. And once again, damaging their own bench. They got another Tails on that coin flip. Okay, the Alakazam player is going to be using Damage Swap, moving the damage counters off of Kangaskhan onto the bench Chansey, and there's another Comet Punch. They just need 1 heads to take the KO, and they got 3. Hitting for 60 damage to take the KO against Articuno, taking their 3rd prize card. And now Blastoise is going to be coming into the active spot, but the player does need 3 energy to start attacking. There's the Rain Dance. Okay, they have exactly 3 cards. And Hydro Pump's going to be hitting for 40 damage. Yeah, not nearly enough, especially because Alakazam can just wipe all that damage away out of the active spot. Yeah, speaking of which, there it goes. Moving 40 damage off of Kangaskhan onto Chansey. Chansey's down to 30 HP remaining, and there's the next attack. Comet Punch hitting for... Let's see how much. 40 damage. So, Blastoise is down to 30 HP remaining. But it looks like the deck is down to the final 2 cards, I think. Yeah, unless Blastoise can take 4 prizes in the next turn, I don't think they're going to be winning this one. So they're just going to be going down swinging. Okay, the Alakazam player is going to be once again healing the active Kangaskhan. There's the next attack, Comet Punch. Is this going to be the KO against Blastoise? And yes, it is. Hitting for 40 damage, taking the KO, taking the 4th prize card. But I think this is going to be the game. I'm pretty sure the Blastoise side is about to deck out. They will see Squirtle coming into the active spot now. Does the player have at least... Oh, they just decked out. Do they have 1 energy? No, they don't. They don't have anything left. This is going to be it. There's the final attack, Comet Punch. Can I take the KO? Yeah, taking the KO against Squirtle. Taking 1 more prize card, but that's still going to be the game because the Blastoise player has decked out. And there's a handshake. Alakazam is your winner. So what did you guys think of that battle? Let me know down in the comments below. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video to help this channel grow and reach new viewers. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, this is the Holland Phantom logging out.